again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So over the course of the last growing season, you've seen me do numerous videos out here in the hoop house, but I wanted to pop out here today and just talk a little bit about the hoop house with you guys and share how I actually used it this growing season and what I have planned for next growing season. But of course, the big question is, was investing in this hoop house worth it? Absolutely. I cannot tell you how much I loved having this hoop house this year. So the one that I purchased is the low sidewall greenhouse. It's from a company called Grower Solutions. They are based out of Tennessee, and this is a 16-foot wide by 28 long. And everyone told me, you're going to want it bigger, you're going to want another one, and both of those are totally true. I can't tell you how much I loved having this growing space. Now, before I get into all the details, Grower Solution is having their Black Friday sale going on right now. If you use the coupon code SUNSHINEBF on their website, you can get a $100 gift card with your greenhouse order, plus free shipping on orders over $2,500. And we all know how much shipping costs. And so I will put all that information down below, but their Black Friday sale goes from now until December 1st. Anyway, purchasing this hoop house was totally worth it. My husband, my dad, and I put it together in probably about a day's time over the course of a couple days. We had never put one together before. It was very easy to put together, and let me tell you, this is so stable, it is not going anywhere. And I was so glad that I had it this year because while I didn't get it in and get an early part of the season started, to start my season earlier, I did have an extra 3 to 4 weeks of growing in the fall for additional sales. So I just kind of want to walk you around the hoop house and show you what I have growing in here right now. I want to talk about how I used it this past growing season, and then I want to share with you my plans for this space for 2024. So my initial plan for this last year was to have this up early as possible in the spring to start really early crops in here and get a jump start on the growing season. Well, needless to say, we didn't end up getting this up until May and getting things planted in here. But like I said, I did get an extra 3 to 4 weeks of bouquets out of here after the frost hit the outdoor garden in the fall. So it was totally worth it. This year in 2023, the things that I had planted in here were feverfew, snapdragons. I had the whole center row filled with dahlias, and then on the sides I had stock and nigella and lysianthus. Now the dahlias, while I don't think it was completely necessary to grow them in here, I was really glad I did because I got blooms longer in the season, but also the bug pressure was less in here. The environment inside of a greenhouse is really great for growing because it holds in that humidity. Cool nights, I could roll down the sides and it would stay a little bit warmer in here, but on the really hot days, the sides would roll right up and I would get plenty of airflow in here as well. Now, as far as my plans for 2024 go, I'm going to flip the camera around and show you what I have growing in here right now, and then I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing next year in here. So in the front corner of the hoop house is all of the feverfew that I had planted in here this year, which I did harvest a lot off of. Feverfew will overwinter in my area, so I am going to just leave all this here in the corner and see how it does over the winter and see if I can get some early spring blooms. Now as we go down this aisle, this next area right in here, this is where my snapdragons were planted. I have since ripped them out and I have planted campanula plugs. These are a purple color, and you can see, if we zoom in close, they are putting on some nice new green growth. Now these are going to grow in here all winter and should give me some really early blooms in the spring. Now back in the corner here, I did not really plan this. This is where I did plant some ranunculus corms late spring just to see if they would do anything. It ended up getting too hot and I never got any blooms off of them. And I actually just kind of forgot about them and left them in the ground. They have all started growing, so I'm just letting them go and I'm going to see if I get any blooms. I don't know if I will, but they're looking so good, I figured I might as well see what they do. Then on the opposite side of the greenhouse, this is all stock that also got planted too late and it didn't like the heat. And it's looking so good, I thought I would see if I would get any blooms off of it. And there are a few blooming. At this point I could probably just rip it out. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But here, this is the area that is looking unbelievably good. This is the first planting of campanula plugs that I put in. Look at how happy these plants look. These are white campanula. Again, just like the ones on the other side of the hoop house, these are going to overwinter, and these are going to give me very early spring blooms. I mean, aren't they just looking absolutely perfect? So that's the plan for the winter growing. See if these ranunculus do anything. Keep the feverfew in here to see how that will overwinter, and I will get some earlier blooms from those. And then the two campanula growing areas, those should winter over nicely. I may have to cover them. I'll just kind of wait and see what happens with that, but those should give me some really early blooms as well. Now, as far as what I'm going to be planting after the first of the year, my hopes is to be planting in here probably about mid-March. I would love to, in probably a week or so, get some Lisianthus started, and that'll be one of the first things that I actually plant out here in March will be Lisianthus. I really want to try and amp up my cool flowers that I start very early. So things like the Lisianthus, snapdragons, those are going to be very early things that I can plant out here that can actually take a frost and grow in those cool temperatures. You know, it definitely won't be warm enough outside yet, but I can put them in here, put some frost cloth over them, and probably get some really early blooms, maybe even in April. I don't know, it'll just be a really great experiment. So aside from being able to extend my growing season longer in the fall, I want to be able to extend my growing season earlier in the spring just to generate that much more income than I normally would have. So for me here in Northwest Iowa in Zone 5A, having this additional growing space, even though it is not huge, was 100% worth it. Price-wise, I did not think the price of this hoop house was bad. You can go on their website and see all the different options for the low sidewall greenhouses. They have lots of other styles as well, but I thought it was a great investment. This is going to last me for years to come, and if you are considering putting up something like this in your garden or on your flower farm, I would absolutely, you know, check it out, consider it something to do for spring next year. Okay, you guys, as I was talking, I happened to notice an anemone getting ready to bloom in here. Oh my gosh, isn't that exciting? Okay, you guys, so that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to share some thoughts about my hoop house. I've had a few of you ask, and especially since Growers Solution is having that Black Friday sale going on right now, I thought this was the perfect time to share with you guys. I will, after the first of the year, share my garden plan as usual, which will include everything that I plan to plant in the hoop house. You know, I mentioned I'm doing Lisianthus, snapdragons. There will be a lot of things that I plant in here, probably some filler such as Bupleurum to get an early crop. This center row is where I planted the dahlias this year, and I may end up switching it up and just doing all of the dahlias outside next year. One other thing I forgot to mention that I plant early is ranunculus. Ranunculus and anemones will be going in here probably in March as well. So there's always a lot of planning to do this time of year, but it is really exciting. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. Oh my gosh, we're getting some really big wind gusts right now. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay, but stay tuned for a lot more. I have a lot of different projects I'm going to share with you guys and a lot more videos coming up. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you soon.